Hello, my name is Christine and my pronouns are she and her.
My name is Kaitlin. My pronouns are also she and her. Christine and I are both peer educators with MAVEN through the Office of Sexual Violence Prevention and Education and Response at McEwen. MAVEN focuses on educating the wider McEwen community on the importance of consent in the efforts of eliminating sexual violence.
This video is part of our Topic of the Week initiative brought to you by our members of MAVEN peer education team. Through this video series, each week we'll be focusing on key topics within the scopes of sexual violence. This week we're focusing on allyship and solidarity.
So to get us started, let's go over both solidarity and allyship. Solidarity within sexual violence prevention is committing to being a part of a culture of consent and committing to practices involving with preventing sexual violence. Allyship is a part of solidarity that involves leading with empathy when standing with survivors of sexual violence to amplify and support their voices, not to dominate the narrative.
Part of allyship is getting comfortable differentiating between sympathy and empathy. Displaying sympathy involves acknowledging the pain of another and offering solutions, whereas empathy involves being willing to feel the pain of the individual suffering and supporting them through their pain unconditionally. Displaying empathy rather than sympathy allows for survivors of sexual violence to feel safe and comfortable sharing any stem of their experiences with allies.
Displaying solidarity within the prevention of sexual violence through allyship means to stand in solidarity with survivors of sexual assault to offer support and exercise prevention strategies. An important part of being an ally is the part we can play in preventing future incidents of sexual violence and by educating ourselves and those around us. The Rape Culture Pyramid is an excellent resource we are going to use to provide us all with a better understanding of how to prevent sexual violence. I'll put it up now for everyone to see. Before we delve into the pyramid, let's define rape culture.
Rape culture is a culture in which sexual violence is pervasive and where prevalent social norms and values excuse, minimize, normalize, or encourage sexual violence. Sexual violence is defined as any action carried out without consent, whether physical or psychological, through sexual means or by targeting sexuality.
What all of us can do every day to be an ally to survivors of sexual violence is to challenge harmful behaviors that support rape culture. This brings us back to the rape culture pyramid you see on the screen that has 3 tiers: normalization, degradation, and assault. Normalization is at the bottom tier, which refers to harmful behaviors and beliefs that are normalized in society as acceptable. Examples in this tier include sexist attitudes, rape jokes, catcalling, unwanted sexual touching, and stalking. In the middle of the pyramid is degradation, which builds off the foundations of normalizing harmful behaviors. Degradation involves making another person feel lesser through sexual behavior. Examples within this tier include unsolicited nude pics, groping, safe word violations, victim blaming, and shaming.
The top of the pyramid is assault, which relies on the 2 previous tiers to persist within society. Examples in this tier include contraceptive sabotage, covert condom removal, molestation, drugging, and sexual assault. Behaviors and beliefs make up the lower level of the pyramid, and they support the more physically harmful and extreme aspects of sexual violence, including sexual harassment and sexual assault. The idea is that by challenging our beliefs that normalize sexual violence, we can change and reduce the number of incidences at the top of the pyramid.
Standing in solidarity with sexual violence prevention means to understand the themes within the rape culture pyramid as harmful and intolerable within society. Once we recognize harmful attitudes, we can stand in solidarity by not perpetuating these normalized behaviors, and by safely standing up to those when we see these harmful themes playing out in society, while remaining an effective ally to those seeking support in any or all of the tiers within the rape culture pyramid.
A central part of being an ally is also learning how to support survivors of sexual assault. However, as we have a topic of the week video coming up in the following weeks that goes in depth on survivor support skills, I will only mention a few key points here. It is important to remember that when listening to survivors, when they're disclosing their stories, silence can be a very empowering tool. By becoming comfortable with silence, you're offering them a space to reclaim their voice and their power that has been taken from them.
Next, the single most important thing you can do for a survivor is to believe them. Being an effective ally involves ensuring them that sexual violence they experienced is not their fault. In addition to communicating that you believe them, it is also important to recognize the strength and the courage it took for them to disclose. Some great example responses could be, I believe you. Thank you for trusting me enough to tell me. I'm sorry that happened.
It is also important to remember that every single person is unique and the path to recovery may look different for everyone. Some survivors may display intense feelings while others will show very little. All types of responses need to be honored and supported. When you validate emotions and experiences, that survivors can feel more seen, heard, and accepted, which can be a very powerful part of healing.
Definitely. Using phrases such as, your feelings are valid and important, or it's okay to not feel okay, provide survivors with empathy that can aid throughout the recovery process. Standing in solidarity with sexual violence prevention and being an effective ally is not always an easy task, and it's okay to make mistakes and to learn from those mistakes. It's a lifelong process. Ensure that self-care is being utilized while being an ally, as well as standing in solidarity with sexual violence prevention, as both roles can be very exhausting.
Yeah, for sure. There are also many great resources that are offered through the Office of Sexual Violence at McEwen that you can reach out to and you can access, including referrals to counseling, medical services. They can help understanding reporting options, self-care resources, and many more. In addition, the wellness and psychological services on campus provide free counseling for survivors of sexual violence. These resources and a few others will be included in the description box below.
All right, that's all for today, folks. Thank you for tuning in to this week's Topic of the Week video. Be sure to check out our next video, which will be posted on April 12th.